I would like to call to order the Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 HRA Board Meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Are there any edits or changes? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hughiem.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Doblinger. We need to take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Doblinger.
Aye.
Commissioner Hughiem.
Aye.
Commissioner Mua.
Aye.
Commissioner Issei.
Aye.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Wooten.
Aye.
Chair Mueller.
Aye. Right, motion passes 7-0. Next item is consent business, and items 3.1 through 3.8 are consent items. Would anyone like to pull an item for discussion? Okay, hearing none, may we have a vote to approve the consent motion. I can't read my handwriting. May we have a motion to approve the consent items?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Doblinger. Oh, and second by Commissioner Carter, sorry. All right, roll call vote.
Commissioner Doblinger.
Aye.
Commissioner Hughiem. Aye. Commissioner Mua.
Aye.
Commissioner Issei.
Aye.
Via WebEx, Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Via WebEx, Commissioner Wood.
Aye.
Chair Mueller.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We have some discussion items. There's no organizational business, no new business, but we do have discussion items. First is the HCV waiting list update. May we have the staff report?
Hi, good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Anna Salvador, Assistant HRA Administrator. The item I am here tonight to discuss is just an update on the HCV program waiting lists, and this is the first of what we plan to do as an annual update to this body each year. No formal action is required. It's more just an update on the activity that occurred over the last calendar year related to the waiting lists. So just as a reminder, some background, the Housing Choice Voucher Program relies on waiting lists to select households for voucher issuance, and this is because the need severely outpaces the amount of available funding across the country for this program. The Bloomington HRA currently has 3 active waiting lists, and what I mean by active is that when we do have vouchers available, these are the waiting lists that we turn to that we're actively managing to select households. The first list is the 2018 Housing Choice Voucher waiting list, and this waiting list opened and closed in 2018, and we've just been selecting from that list since that closure. This list is close to being exhausted, as we'll see in a later slide. Once this list is exhausted, that is when we can then move to the 2024 Housing Choice Voucher waiting list, which opened in July of 2024. At the same time we opened that waiting list, we also opened the project-based voucher waiting list for this program, and both of those 2024 lists are consistently or constantly open to new applications, so we're regularly accepting new applications to those 2 waiting lists. All 3 of these waiting lists go through what we call our update process, which happens 2 times per year, and 2025 was the first year that we went through this update process with our new software. The goal of the update process is just to confirm continued interest in the program and just make sure that the household information that we have on file is still accurate as we're screening for eligibility and things like that. So like I mentioned, we completed our first annual update cycle. So we did a an update in February and also one in September. This was a new process for our office, and primarily it's all completed online through the portal. What happens is we send a notification out to all households that are on our waiting list and give them about a 15 business day time period where they just need to respond, indicate their interest, and update their personal household information. As of the most recent update in September, we achieved a 60% response rate, which we think is a pretty decent average to maintain. As you'll see with the volume of our waiting list, that's a significant number of households that we were able to reach and get a response from. We've also seen a lot of movement on our project-based voucher waiting list in terms of selection from that waiting list in 2025, and that's just because of vacancies both in our assisted rental properties, but also in other project-based voucher units that are a part of the program. The next few slides are mostly just demographic information about who is on our waiting list. Or waiting lists, I should say. The top right side of this slide is just showing current income limits that are released by HUD annually and in the spring. Based on these income limits, the vast majority of our applicants across the board fall into that extremely low income, which is 30% of area median income or below. And that's consistent across all three of our programs. I will just flag for eligibility for this program, it's 50% of AMI or below, but we do still allow households with a slightly higher income to remain on the waiting list because we do verification of income and household size and all of that at selection. So we just want to give the opportunity for that household to continue to be considered, because who knows when they would be selected and what their household situation would be at that time. So I'm just flagging that's why there is a small percentage of households that are showing as low income on these waiting lists. So the first list for 2018, we have 54 households remaining on this list, so a very small total amount of households. The vast majority of them do fall in that single person household size. One thing I'll just flag on this slide that I think is interesting is most of this demographic information is pretty consistent across all three of our waiting lists. Specifically, when you're looking at household race, we do see a slight adjustment when it comes to household ethnicity with our 2024 waiting list, as we'll see on the next slide, and we attribute that to more targeted outreach to the Hispanic populations within the metro area. So again, here's the 2024 waiting list. As of the last update, we have just over 5,500 households on this list. Again, we're seeing most of those households are either in one or two person household sizes. And then there's like a pretty representative split between disabled and family household types. The 2024 HCV list and project-based waiting list, just due to the nature of how and when they were opened, there's a lot of overlap of who's on those waiting lists, and I think that is reflective of what you're seeing for the project-based voucher waiting list in terms of demographics as well. This list, again, I think is showing a slightly smaller amount of households, and I think that can be attributed to the number of waiting list selections we've done for project-based vouchers this last year. In terms of 2026, just looking ahead, we do plan to do 2 updates in the February-September kind of time range again in 2026. And then the other big waiting list related update is that we do plan to open another project-based voucher waiting list specifically for the Roslyn, which are also known as 700 American. And that waiting list is set to be open sometime in January, so very soon here. So that'll be another major project under this waiting list umbrella in 2026. And that concludes my presentation.
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Carter.
Thank you, Chair. Can you remind us why there's a separate waiting list for that project specifically?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Carter, for the question. So for that, we elected to do a separate waiting list because that property is restricted to 55 and up individuals in terms of age, and so it kind of creates an administrative burden to justify why we're selecting out of order on our normal project-based voucher waiting list. So this is just a way to kind of keep the administrative burden down somewhat. So.
And I assume we'll let the people who are on the other list know, who are in that 50. I mean, it doesn't look like there's very many. So, but in that 55 plus range.
Yes.
Know that
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner Carter. Yeah, we intend to do some targeted outreach to households that already are on our waiting list that we think could qualify for the new waiting list as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Commissioner Wooten?
Yeah, my question has to do with the first of the year, Congress goes back into session again to figure out what the budget's going to be. Is there any thoughts as to how this is going to affect these waiting lists? That's the first question. And the second is there any thought given to possibly purging, given the nature of the climate and the uncertainty to all the activities that's been taken on by rate services?
Thanks, Commissioner Wooten, for the question. I think due to the nature of how we manage the waiting list, I think there's always going to be some level of responsibility for continued kind of the update process is essentially our annual purge, I will say. So households that don't respond to our update request are removed from the waiting list. And so that's how it's a mechanism that we use to make sure that the households that are on our list continue to be interested, that when we do have selection available, we are able to pull from an active list. As of right now, based on the funding that we're aware of, we need to maintain and have a waiting list just because we do have active vouchers in our community. If we were to have any sort of funding available, we would need to be able to pull from a list in order to issue any potential vouchers that we have. So there would still be that requirement of having some sort of list.
So my question, I guess more directly is, given the nature of the uncomfortability, ethnic groups, communities, is there a thought about how to be proactive in marketing and ensuring that they can feel comfortable putting their name on a list so that they can be chosen? That's what
I see. Thank you, Commissioner Wooten, for the question. So when we first opened the list, we implemented an affirmative marketing plan, as it's generally referred to, and marketed broadly across different groups that are represented across the community of Bloomington. I think this annual review is our opportunity to make sure that population is still consistent with who's on our waiting list, and then we can do targeted outreach at that point if it looks like there's any groups that are underrepresented. Based on the analysis we did when the waiting list was opened about a year ago, we're still pretty consistent with the population distribution within Bloomington.
Other questions or comments? Thank you. Next, we have HRA Administrator updates.
Yes, Chair and Commissioners, very short, quick meeting tonight. Thank you all for making it in the very snowy evening. A couple updates. So at the last meeting, I updated on a couple items going to council. A quick update on those. The CDBG amendment was approved last night. The HRA levy was held to the next meeting, which is on December 15th, and there was a request for some additional information there. In terms of other updates, we do have, our next meeting is in January. We only have one meeting scheduled for this month, so this will be the last one for the year. And maybe I'll pause there, see any questions. I have one last announcement.
Commissioner Hukin?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to make a comment regarding last night's City Council meeting, if that would be okay. Last night's council meeting was challenging, and I just want to offer a brief statement for the record. As an HRA board commissioner, I want to highlight the amount of time, care, and hard work our board invested in developing the budget and determining the levy request. There was emotion, frustration, and a great deal of diligence behind this process. And we also listened very closely not only to our council liaisons when they shared their concerns on the original levy request, stating it was too high, but we also listened to residents. In response, we compromised and lowered our request accordingly. And because of that, it was deeply concerning to have the levy held at last night's council meeting. This raises issues not only related to timing and deadlines, which is a concern I do have, and I would like clarification on that tonight as well, just for the public too, but also the respect and validation of the work put forward by this board and the HRA staff. Speaking personally, it did not make me feel heard or supported. I would like to commend Councilmember D'Alessandro for voting against the hold and for recognizing that all requested documentation had been provided to the council. In addition to the multiple meetings this board has held on this issue, I also appreciate Councilmember Mua's thoughtful comments. However, it was still disheartening to feel that the council did not stand behind the board it appointed. It left the impression that the dedication and hard work of this board was not fully valued, and I believe that deserves acknowledgement.
Thank you.
All right, and my last announcement is just I wanted to acknowledge that tonight is Commissioner Mua's last meeting as a council representative, and so we will be having a new representative at our first meeting in January, and so just wanted to.
I just want to add to that, add my appreciation, Commissioner Mua, for all you have done. One of the things I absolutely appreciate probably the most is the thought out questions that you ask. You have helped me look at things differently. You have worded things in such a way that it's like, oh, okay, and always have been respectful. And I just appreciate what you have given to this board and to the city as a whole. Thank you. Anyone else?
I second that.
Me as well. I've learned a lot from you. You've challenged my thought process in the most respectful way, as she said, and I appreciate that. I think that's very helpful, and it helps us grow, and it helps us become a greater city. So thank you for your commitment to the city. Thank you for your time, not only here, but with the council. Your voice has been very appreciated.
Commissioner Wooten, did you have your hand raised? Yes, Commissioner Wooten.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, I was on mute. I want to also commend Commissioner Mua for his mentorship of me early on and the opportunity to be able to share ideas and for all the hard work not only done on the councils and the board, but all the hard work he's doing in community as a whole, with family and with other families in particular. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, I'll say something now.
Okay.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Chair. And all the members of the board. It's been 2 years already. Can't believe it's flown by like that. And when I first joined the HRA, I knew housing was important to me. Just from how I grew up and how housing impacted my family and my life as a first-generation American, watching my parents as immigrants work through the process and the system, and then to come to a city that values and supports the people who live here in that same way. I've come to really understand just how deeply it shapes the lives of our city and our residents here. And housing is more than just bricks and mortar. It's about stability and dignity and opportunity. And when we talk about redevelopment, it's more than just projects. It's about creating spaces where people feel that they can belong and that they can thrive. And I'll never forget all the conversations that I've had with residents, with staff, who have benefited from our programs, stories from families who have been able to find a safe place to call home when they've looked far and wide, and Bloomington is the place where they end up. We've been able to help seniors stay in their home seniors who have been here since the 60s, since Bloomington was nothing but farmland. And the programs that we have that help them remodel and keep up their homes and allow them to stay in the place that they raise their families, that their grandkids come home to, it speaks volumes to what we do here on the HRA. And these moments are what remind me about why this work matters so much. So I want to thank, first off, our staff. Sarah for coming on and taking on everything. Our staff for everything that you've endured over the last 5 years. The pandemic, working through all of the issues that caused, leadership changes, staffing changes. We didn't miss very much. We continue to roll through and provide the services that our people need here in our city to make sure that they can continue to stay here in Bloomington, raise their families here in Bloomington. So your professionalism and care doesn't go unnoticed. And I've learned so much from all of you. I'm really grateful for your patience with me as I was learning, because I'm sure I've asked one or two questions that probably didn't need to be asked, but I'm glad I did, and I'm glad that you answered my questions in a way that didn't make me feel like I didn't know what I was doing, because I didn't. So I appreciate you doing that for me. To my fellow commissioners, just thank you for your collaboration and your thought. It's not easy to sit up here with 7 people and talk through the difficult conversations that we have to have sometimes. But this board is not afraid to tackle those tough conversations, those tough issues. And I've appreciated the way that we've worked together to find solutions that really reflect what Bloomington values. And so I'm proud of the progress we've made, and I know that there's more important work ahead. And I have no shortage of confidence that this board is going to continue to make those tough decisions and have those tough conversations. And to the Bloomington residents, thank you. Thank you for your trust, your feedback, your confidence, your patience, and your passion for this community. Every email, every conversation, every handshake, every coffee I've ever had has reminded me why I chose to serve here. And it has been an honor to advocate for your needs to help build a city where our families have the opportunity to thrive. And stepping away wasn't an easy choice. It's very bittersweet that I'm here and having to say all this right now, but it's the right one for me and my family. I'm just at a time in life where dad's needed more at home than the city needs a commissioner, a city council member right now. And so my 3 boys are growing really fast, and I don't want to miss any more moments with them. I'm sure they're watching right now, actually. And so I feel bad for the city. The average viewing age is going to drop probably by 20 years because they're all watching. But someone once told me when I had coffee with them, they said, your kids are only little once. The city will always have work to do. And I really took that to heart, and that's what helped me make the decision that I had to make. But this isn't goodbye. All right, this is a see you later. I still deeply believe in the promise that Bloomington has and makes for all our residents. And when the time is right, I look forward to coming back to raise my hand again and serve with all of you, with all of our residents. But until then, I'll be cheering you on from the sidelines. I'm grateful for all you do to keep Bloomington moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
I like that, Bloomington moving forward. That was
Yeah.
witty. That was cool.
Oh, Commissioner Wooten?
I actually wanted to go before Commissioner Moore said he had a couple of points I want to make since this is the last meeting for the current board. Commissioner Hui mentioned a point about the budget and the levy. I want to know kind of where that is now, since it's going to be delayed for the next council members meeting. And then secondly, at last meeting, we had an issue with folks who came to speak out. And it was a little bit of a challenge trying to get that crowd to be a bit more respectful of the fact that that wasn't an audience. And so I wanted to talk about safety and being aware of safety relative to our meetings and being able to have situations where we have a protocol to control crowds or individuals who may not be in line with what we're trying to do. I want to make sure that's part of what we discuss going into January.
Yes, Chair and Commissioner, I can jump in with an update on the levy, which is it will be on the agenda for the City Council next week on Monday, December 15th. You know, I believe that the budget has to be approved on the 15th, so it didn't cause any delays on our end, and so, but I do believe that it needs to have a vote on the 15th on the agenda. So that's where we are currently. And then as regards to your other question around safety, I can say we're kind of exploring the idea around like a training for commissioners around safety in the chambers, so we can look into providing that next year.
With no further questions or comments, we have reached the end of our agenda. And may I have a motion to adjourn the Tuesday, December 9th HRA board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Mua
Second.
and second by Commissioner Wooten, I think I heard. So we need a roll call vote.
Commissioner Doblinger,
Aye.
Commissioner Huhim,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Ise,
Aye.
via WebEx, Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
via WebEx, Commissioner Wooten,
Aye.
Chair Mueller.
Aye. So motion passes 7-0. Thank you, everyone.